What's up, YouTube? It's Michael coming at you with an impromptu review of the Poetic Trilogy by the Iranian director Mohsen Makhmalbaf. So far, last night I watched the first one, Gabbeh, and so that's how I'm gonna take these videos. I think is I'm gonna do the first three, just watch, react, and then at the end, I will look at all the special edition contents and the booklet and talk about those maybe as well, review them, share my thoughts, whether or not it's worth picking this up right away versus, you know, just letting the first pressing go out of print and then just grab it during a sale. But it was good. So for those of you who don't know, Mohsen Makhmalbaf is probably one of the first, and I don't know a whole lot about Iranian cinema, but of the names that I've heard, the famous Iranian directors, Mohsen is definitely up there, with probably Abbas Kiarostami being the most famous one. But there's also the connection between the two of them, because in the film Close Up by Kiarostami, Makhmalbaf is not a character in it, as far as I know, because I haven't seen it yet. But from what I've read about it, is that a character in Close Up is a huge fan of Makhmalbaf and impersonates him. And so this movie, the Gabbeh, is very much lives up to the title Poetic. It is a poetic movie in the vein of Tarkovsky and Terrence Malick, and I think from what I've read about Abbas, because I haven't seen anything by Kiarostami yet, I know, but from what I've seen of him as well, or heard of him as well, is that he's also a very poetic director. And just to give a very shallow kind of idea about this movie that I would give you, is that it's not a plot heavy movie. It gives you a basic story, which is that a woman appears to an old couple on a gabbeh, which is an Iranian rug that they're washing in a river. She appears to them and then shares with them a story and the struggles that she's going through about being in love with a man that her father won't let her run away with. So it's very simple, but there is a lot of themes and depth to the movie. It is poetic not only in its design and in its the way it's shot and everything like that. It's like a poem. A poem is a lot of poems anyway are compacted. They're short, or a lot shorter than novels and short stories, but they're short and they're condensed, and they're designed to give as much depth and meaning and detail by word choice, you know, in as short as possible. And that's kind of this movie. It is only 73 minutes long, and yet there's so much in it. There's so many themes about life and death and love and loss and humanity's connection to nature and to the divine, and the colorfulness that is life. It has a lot, and you know, given that it's short run length and that it deals with multiple themes, you know, it doesn't explore them deeply, like completely, but it doesn't need to. It you know, it just conveys those messages very straightforward. Not straightforward in the presentation, because it's a poetic, but it presents them, and it doesn't need to be hammered in or examined over and over or anything like that. You know, you don't need a whole movie about not America. I don't know why the freak I was going to say that. You don't need a whole movie about humanity's connection to nature and to animals, you know. But you know, I wouldn't, if you are not that in depth into, or you don't have a lot of experience with poetic cinema, I would not recommend this to you as a movie to start with. Because if you're an if you're an English speaker and you're trying to get into poetic cinema, or you kind of are iffy about it, and you like plot heavy movies and you care about stories and characters and all that, and you're not interested in poetic cinema, then this would not be a good one to start with, because it also has the like a cultural and religious thing to it that it might just be a little bit, it might add too much to you. So I would say to start with something else like Terrence Malick, if that's something that's, yes, it's poetic, but it's also closer to your experience maybe, or to your culture, and you might then be able to appreciate that, and that could be your in to other poetic and foreign poetic movies. And so I still don't want to talk about it in terms of revealing any plot details or anything like that, but if that was enough to sate your interest, and you want to go and watch the movie first, you can come back. But I do want to talk a little bit about what it had that I appreciated, that I enjoyed, in the poetic elements of it, because it starts off, kind of slow. It doesn't grab you right away. You see a woman appear, to an old couple, and then they have an interesting back and forth and all that. But what really grabbed me, and it was like probably one of the first poetic images, or at least the one that grabbed me a lot, was a man is instructing some children in arithmetic, and then another man comes and to instruct them, or to help instruct them. He wants to give them a lesson. What he does is he reaches his hand out of the frame, and then you see a field, like behind me, of grass, of yellow, not grass, yellow flowers, and he reaches into the frame and grabs it and comes back to his original frame. He comes back and he's holding flowers. And then he reaches the other side to another field of red flowers, comes back and has red flowers. And he reaches up into the sky, into the heavens, grabs the blue and comes back, and his hand is blue. And so that's the image that's right here, is the blue hand holding the red flowers. And that to me it meant that humans are reaching into nature, reaching into the heavens, into the water, like pretty much exactly what I just said, but not grasping for it and then just coming back, not reaching and finding nothing. Humans are bringing it with them because it's inside us. The divine is inside us, nature is inside us. And the other thing that he does, because he doesn't just do poetic imagery or poetic juxtapositions of certain frames or scenes. He does it by sound too. There's two major separate instances of animal sounds being overlapped or inserted into humans doing things or making those sounds. And so the first one was about the man who was in love with the woman Gabbeh. He follows her tribe, but he keeps his distance. He keeps on his horse because her father won't let him. He won't let him approach. He won't let him come and take his daughter away. And so she is, throughout the movie, just being constantly reminded by hearing him calling to her. But you don't hear him yell for her. You don't hear him yell her name. When he calls, or when we see him, and sometimes we don't, but she hears his call. It's a wolf's call, and it's constant throughout the movie, just him calling for her with a wolf howl. And it reminded me a lot of this short nature clip that I saw on YouTube a couple years ago about wolves. And there was one where a male wolf was following a pack, and there was a female wolf in it who was she would sneak off to be with him, but they wouldn't escape together or anything. And then the alpha male would come and drive the young wolf off. And I don't know enough about wolves and how they work. Maybe it's a very common thing, but it's certainly what brought that memory back to me, was the wolf calling for the female wolf. And I'll leave you to find out the other major animal noise that gets inputted or inserted with the female. But it was very interesting. It was very, I would say, beautiful. Arrow did a really good job with the image. There was still a couple of artifacts and things like that, especially during transitions. I'm noticing that whenever a movie is restored and it looks good, there's sometimes moments where it transitioned from one scene to the next, or maybe there's, like in the cases of like Sinbad and other the Harryhausen movies, is that whenever you're overlaying film stock on top of each other, I guess it drives the quality down or something like that, or just, but it essentially doesn't look as good. There's like a very quick shift of quality down to where it either looks muddled in a certain way, or you can just tell that there's less resolution. And it doesn't happen too often in this one, but you will notice it a couple times. And I thought it sounded great too. So I highly recommend it. I very much enjoyed it, and I am looking forward to seeing the next movies. I think I'll probably watch The Silence next week, because I got a couple of movies to watch tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. So I will be uploading those videos soon, hopefully within the next week, and then we'll see this. But this is, I'm hoping that the other two are just as good as this, because Gabbeh was really, really good, and I'm very happy to own this set. So thank y'all for joining me, and let me know if y'all seen this, or if you have any other recommendations of poetic movies I should see, or your thoughts maybe on Iranian cinema, but also just anything that you got this week, anything that you're looking forward to. Did you just see the recent Arrow release their news about their copy of the game? I looked at Facebook, their website, and there's a little bit of controversy given its price and some of its features. So anything you guys want to let me know in the comments below, and I hope that you're all having a good time as well as you can be, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.